Are you sure you want to start streaming? Yes, I am. Excellent connection. Remember that sound? Man, does that take you back?
I am not a number. I am a free man.
You betcha. Today is July 4th, Independence Day. And some people might say I'm being disrespectful, despite the fact that I have a flag and a hat back there above the Andy Warhol. And I'm wearing a Union Jack. But today is Independence from England Day. All right? It's not, you know, I mean, they revised history so many gosh darn times. Darn it. Well, I'm getting some really weird interference. You should see the setup I have right now. I actually can... I'm getting interference from some part of the world that I don't even know exists. Let's stop that, please. Here's how I'm set up now. I have added a new feature to the show. I don't know if it's going to work or not. This is targeted at... I am now able to have live video from certain parts of on this planet. In other words, this particular morning show is basically pushing the limits. But I am getting some static because it's a little bit complex the way the setup is right now. And I'm not sure if I don't have everything tightened up as much as I think. But anyway, part of it is that I've got the ability here to set up an iPhone, okay? And what that means is that, and this is kind of, doesn't really want to do it. But it's Tony Caravan Live, and we're going to mess around with this, and we'll figure it out. These are some of my apps that I've got set up. And it's having a little bit problem broadcasting this stuff. But, you know, this is Tony Caravan Live, as I said. And, you know, we do this stuff in the morning. We just mess around.
Tony Caravan. You've been subjected to a highly sophisticated form of propaganda.
It's just what you need, and not what you don't.
So, like, for example, if I turn on this other camera, there'll be a delay, all right? But you're getting a very kind of distorted view, but you can see the sound clips that I have, which we were never able to really see before. You see? This is a behind-the-scenes look at my setup. You can see down, you know, it's interesting. And you can see down below here I have all kinds of electronic equipment. You know, this isn't exactly what the average person who puts on a podcast has. You know, look at all these wires and lights and, you know, as Thomas Dolby said, you know, look at that. You can see the broad spectrum of keyboards and everything that's going on here. It's kind of neat, isn't it? Yeah. So, anyway, this new production setup, while I guarantee it's going to be faulty, all right, nonetheless, it's cool. And what I'm doing is I turn that off. I'm going to get rid of that and just focus on ourselves here. We still have an excellent connection. And I'm considering that my friend Trey, who takes pictures of sunsets, and I have chat on right now. And if Trey, by some chance you have Duo, because I have your face showing up on my Duo app on my phone. If you want to take a live picture of a sunset down in your coastal area, we can broadcast that live today. I know we didn't prepare this in advance, and I don't know if you're listening, but in case you are, it's something we can do. Meanwhile, I found one of these things. You know, you go down to New Orleans. You know, I've been all over the place, and this is I mean, I'm sure this thing has no value anymore, but I used to have a bunch of these. Pat O'Brien's down in New Orleans, you know, and this was good for, you know, the classic hurricane drink. Of course, no glass. They didn't want you dropping one of the glasses, but they'd serve it to you in a plastic glass. I was down for a convention one time. National Association of Broadcasters convention, and I actually got that from the I believe it was the president of Westwood One. Had a pocket full of them. Anyway, for those of you new to this show,
you're listening to Tony Caravan Live.
That's it, and we are just pushing the technology as far as we can take it. And if you just tuned in this moment, again, I'm going to move my head over. There's the American flag. I'm wearing the Union Jack. It's July 4th in the calendar year 2021. In the States, America, it's known as Independence from Britain Day. A lot of people don't know that. They're setting off firecrackers and they're doing all this stuff. And, you know, that's what this is. This was the day when the colonists said, enough is enough, king baby. We don't like the king system. We don't want to be ruled over and taxed to death and follow your edicts, right? So we're declaring independence from England, from bloody England. I have friends in the UK. That's nothing personal. Besides, it was several hundred years ago. But the idea, nonetheless, is that how we revise history so much in this country, and how people take these holidays and they just take it for granted. Throw some firecrackers up and wave a flag, and they don't even understand the idea. And when you look at society today, you look at our culture right now, what's going on in America, as they say in England. You ever notice that? I talk about that all the time. They always put an R, and if a word ends with an A, it's like an R, kind of. Paul McCartney used to call his wife Linder. Anyway, here in America, the former United States that once declared independence from England and the king system is now like, you know, it's like we have the king system, you know? It's ridiculous. Everything that Independence Day stood for is basically being ignored. So, you know, anyway, so my set is a flashback to the 1950s and 60s in black and white, because at least back then they kind of knew that, you know. They knew what Independence Day really was before revisionist history took over. Sometime in around the 80s that happened. I had my You Make Me Feel So Good. You make me feel like spring has sprung. And every time I had the old Echo Dot play that this morning when I was getting up. I woke up at like 3 o'clock. I just laid in bed. Well, I got up and I had a bowel movement. Well, you don't hear that stuff on Tony Caravan Live, which I needed because it's been a couple days, man. You and I are like a couple of Frank Sinatra. Some of his more swinging tunes. There was a time when I used to get into his like, it's 3 in the morning. All his bluesy, or he's got the blues songs. But that's like That's like that Clint Eastwood movie when Clint Eastwood was DJ. This song goes out for lonely lovers on this Independence Day morning. But if you're not a lonely lover, I'm more into the swinging thing. I'd like to play some swing right now, but that ain't gonna happen. Let me just see for the sake of it, though. Let's put Frank Sinatra. Let's see if I have any swingy stuff by him that we could play. Name that tune. Because if we only play like so many seconds of it, it doesn't really matter. Here goes. Anybody? Bueller? Anyone? The Way You Look Tonight. How about this one? That darn applause. I'll have to start it after the applause, and then that way it won't be considered. I think maybe it'll start the clock thing at a different time.
Thank you.
Nah. I probably got a hit for that one. Let's see. What else we got here by Frank? This song could not be played because the original file could not be found. Would you like to locate it? Well, that's weird. I would like to locate it, but that is weird. Where is it? Anyway, as opposed to this kind of thing. That kind of the slower Sinatra stuff. You know what I'm saying. Anyway.
Quality, quantity, and variety.
Rock Flux.
Let's get this show on the road.
All right, this is the YouTube Rock Flux channel. I'm on Podcasting Index now. So, and I'm just toying with this whole, this is a podcast. It's just a visual podcast. So, check that out. That's like an Adam Curry project. I don't know who else is involved in that thing. There's a lot of coders over there. They're trying to, do some breakthrough stuff to break on through the other side. Alternatives to, to us being victimized. And so you can go to TonyCaravanLive.com, or you could you can go there and there's a link to it. But you can also this way to the beach under my links, and you'll find a link to my page on Podcasting Index. You'll also find a link to my locals.com site. There's a lot of alternatives coming up by some interesting people who are, who've got their acts together, and people are starting to come along. And it's not political. It's not political. You're always going to get extreme people here and there that, jump onto things. But, these two sites I just mentioned, or projects, are by people who are pretty, got their heads together, so, you look at somebody like a Dave Rubin and a Tulsi Gabbard, and both are, on locals. So it's like, they've got their acts together. In fact, both of those individuals are good examples of traditional politics in America, because they're open-minded, rational people, though they, are considered on different sides of, the so-called political spectrum, say. But they can carry on a rational conversation, a discussion. They can disagree on certain issues, and they can agree to disagree, but be civil, you see? And that's what's been lacking from politics. And this isn't a political show, because I'm not into politics anymore. Looks like I got a torn shirt there. See what I wear underneath there. It's supposed to get up to 76 today, man. Last night was 57 degrees. It was cold. I was hoping the heat would go on, because I had the heat set to go on, but for some reason the house held so much heat that it didn't go on. But that's that. And so I guess I'm going to drink my carbonated cola beverages, which I think, to tell you the truth, I think these are the things, without getting into brand names, I think these are the things that I've kind of messed up my stomach over the past month. Because I've been like popping Rolaids and Tums, and I don't know if anybody's tried aloe, like pure aloe juice. Oh, does that taste horrible? But it does the job, It kind of neutralizes the pH and all that stuff. So that's my story. And, do you want to look at the weekend weather? Okay, let's go. Real quick here, because this messes up my computer. Right now, currently, they're saying it's up to 61 degrees in my neck of the woods. I'm in the mid-Atlantic states, and so anybody somewhere in the mid-Atlantic states towards the eastern part of the country should have weather like that. It's going to be cloudy with some sun. Pardon me, I've got to clear my throat. That's better. Henry Kissinger's going to give the rest of the weather. So it's going to be a high of 79 degrees today and a low of 61. I think that scared the cat. And tomorrow, Monday, which is basically going to be, I guess, the official, or the holiday for government workers and such the like, it's going to be 90 degrees and 70 degrees in the overnight. Tuesday, it's going to be 90 again. So we're heading into like some hot weather. So enjoy today's the day. Weekend weather. Today is the day to get the barbecue grill out, because at least it's going to be below 80 degrees and it's going to start off cool. So it should be a real nice day. It's not exactly the perfect beach day, but nonetheless, it's a good day. So, and for the rest of this show, we're going to
making up the rules as we go along.
And that's exactly right. And
You're listening to Tony Caravan Live.
And don't forget, you can get your morning show mug at TonyCaravanLive.com. The Union Jack. Slurpity slurp. Slurp, 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 slurp. Yeah, I mean, that Sinatra stuff was... Jukebox Gold. It's just too bad we can't play too much more of that. So, I know I've got a picture of a volcano up as my card today. My YouTube title card. What does it mean? What does it mean? What does it mean? And it's July 4th. This is 4th of July. Is he disrespecting us? There's the American flag. I know, I'm wearing the Union Jack. I'll say it again for somebody tuning in late or fast forwarding through this thing. It's Independence from England Day. Right? The founding fathers of the former United States were against the king system, taxation without representation. Think about today. We have taxation without representation. We live in a corporatocracy, right? Big tech decides what they want to do. What are the first four words of the First Amendment? Right? Congress shall make no law, which was on to say abridging freedom of speech. Is that honored by big tech and the corporatocracy? No. Does anyone care? No. Do judges care? No. Does anybody in Congress care? No. Do the presidents care? No. They talk about it, but they don't do anything about it. Hey, look, the last guy had time to do stuff about it, didn't do it. This guy's been in for 6 months. He hasn't done it. Almost 6 months, and he hasn't done well, he's been in here for 6 months. That's right, over 6 months. And he hasn't done a darn thing about it. You know? So to heck with politics, pop culture. If that's what you want to do, you go ahead and do it. I'm going to wear my Hawaiian shirt. I got my AM radio in the background, my tube radio, my old-fashioned dial-up phone, hotline, right to the, the live office. We take calls. So, I'm hoping that as the sun rises, we may get a sunrise. We may be able to do a duo connection with a certain individual down in the coast who takes pictures of sunrises. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll broadcast live. We'll put the live sunset right on here. Be interesting to do. If that gentleman is listening on this show today by any chance. Like I say, I don't want to call. It's 5:16 a.m. in the morning, so I'm not exactly, and we're both on the East Coast, and I'm not exactly going to call somebody at 5:16 a.m. in case they're not going out, this morning, or they're sleeping in or something weird like that. I can't do that. It was just an idea I had at 3 a.m. this morning, and I set up the system. I realized, I could do this, right? The way the system works is that I'm basically able to take my iPhone, okay? And so if I were to use Duo on my iPhone, and I have that plugged into my mixer, I can get sound and video and plug it through this system, right? And as you saw earlier in the video, I also could just use that camera here to give you another angle view of my getup, which I did, and then it's a nice getup that it is, if I must say so myself. But the carbonation's already getting to me. I had this little chocolate fiber bar this morning, so I had something in my stomach. I didn't take an aspirin. Sometimes I take a half of aspirin. They say you do that because I've had I for a little while first they said it was a flutter, then they said it was a fib, and then they gave me said, well, just take the pill, if you get, then they said it was kind of dehydration, and electrolytes, like in that movie Idiocracy. So it's and that was the Wayback Machine. And then once I got into this kidney stone thing that I had to have an operation for, that ended up after that, them finding that I had prostate cancer, and I had to have that radical prostatectomy operation, which I get a blood test in 2 days, my PSA, to see if I'm clear and clean. It's either that or it's like leaving Las Vegas. Let's get a drink. You gotta have a positive attitude on life. You gotta live life to the fullest. That's what life is. I think I'm getting this like staticky experience in my headphones. I'm not sure if it's coming over to you or not, but it's because I've got the massive setup I have here now. It is insane. It really is. It's crazy. Yeah. I'm actually quite impressed, with the way this is working out right now. As long as we keep ourselves in sync and all that stuff. I even have chat and comments open now. So what the heck? Be that as it may. So I've got this volcano on. I've started to talk about this. This volcano is the title card or the meme for social media. Now it's saying there's no data being broadcast. Now it's an excellent connection. So I guess I cut out for a second there. I don't know how that stuff happens. I glance over to the left to monitor myself, and then every now and then, like, no data. So to you, you just see like some kind of jump, I imagine, because if it jumps from no data to excellent connection, it's weird. 30 frames per second, CPU usage is only around 10%. Computer does not feel hot. This room is not hot. It's cold, cool. So I do not see any reason for us to be having problems. So we're 26 minutes 51 seconds into the show. It's 5:21 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in the former United States. If you're seeing this somehow, this has been preserved and you're buried under 1,000 feet of ice or more in some government shelter, good luck. I doubt if you're ever going to get out of that thing. And part of the reason I've got the volcano on there is, guess what? You've got the ice crushing you down, but don't remember there's volcanic activity coming up below. And so that so-called shelter or whatever, tubular, man, the tubular thing, like those tubes on Mars, those things might just end up getting filled with lava. Think about that. And you're saying, what are you talking about? Well, what I'm talking about briefly, and this show isn't going to be dedicated to that, is the Earth's magnetic field has weakened. Now, you can find this information anywhere you want to. All government sites, peer-reviewed papers, whatever. This is a phenomenon that has been occurring, and it's a scary phenomenon because it's the Earth's magnetic field that protects us from cosmic rays and even solar rays and things like that. And in fact, we have a South Atlantic anomaly. There's areas there where it's so weak, I don't know. You could almost be fried, I guess. And the solar magnetic field is also, in a state of flux. And we're entering this time, and many people talk about this 12,000-year cycle. And, strange things are happening. And it's not necessarily the fear-mongering that you hear on network or cable TV or that go viral on social media or that the so-called conspiracy theorists or whatever try to push around. No, this is hard science. Astrophysics, all right? Based on grand cycles, things that we know of, things that we study, things that can be confirmed through archaeology, all right? Ice cores, things of that nature, hard science. So, this is a reality that we're dealing with right now. And like I've said before, how fragile life is for people to be so caught up into petty schoolyard triggering and finger pointing and name calling, right? The Peter Pan culture, the childishness of it all. It's, you should be happy, that you're alive, really. We live in a country where there is no reason for anyone to be hungry. Think about that. There are literally programs, all right, in every state, right, that offer food assistance to anyone who needs it. Anyone who needs it. So there's no need for anyone to starve in the United States or the former United States, because it's a corporatocracy now. Let's face the facts, right? So, you could say these are the best of times, these are the worst of times in some regard. But as far as you are concerned, that's almost a decision that you make yourself. Like I say, when I decided that I was going to live at the poverty level, below the poverty level, to reduce my stress, it was a conscious decision. And I'm happy with that decision. I can't do everything I used to be able to do when I was bringing in big bucks and had all kinds of projects going on. But I can do this. I can listen to music. I laid in bed. My cat was hanging out with me this morning. And I said to the cat, even though he doesn't understand English, I said, enjoy this moment, my friend. We're free. At this particular time, we're not in particular pain, through any kind of ailment. And we could just lay back and relax. And that's the thing. And so, it just puzzles me that there are so many angry people out there, fists in the air about things. It's like, you got this body. The only thing you really have to do is eat. Think about that. Right? You need water, but that's eating, consume. That's all you have to do. And guess what? The government will give you, the way we're set up, the safety net, whether you like it or not, left or right, red or blue, whatever whatever you want, your political persuasions may be. The fact is, no one in this country need be hungry or thirsty today or any day. And it's the same with health care for the poor. If you are below the poverty line, you get free health care. And if you are below the poverty line, you are offered housing. There's people living in tents on the streets. Homelessness in America, it's a serious problem. It is a problem, but it's a mental problem. It's a mental issue. And all these people that talk about all these things and stand on these soapboxes and make speeches all the time, point is, they just don't want to deal with that. Right? But the fact of the matter is, those people can have housing. There's housing. There's money available. But, these are the things. And, and yet, what are the issues that people worry about? He called me a name. I got triggered by that. I can't, Come on, man. How old are you? Are you 8 years old? The Peter Pan culture. There's there's 40-year-old people, getting triggered by something. There's people in their families that won't talk to each other because of, words. Right, words. Or opinions. What happened to the concept of the op-ed, right? You know what I mean? Or that's your opinion. So what? Like I said before, you agree to disagree. Why argue? especially with somebody who's in your family, friends, or your neighbors, or people that you have to deal with at work. Instead, these people, that person must be fired. They said such and such, or they didn't do this, or they didn't follow this particular, edict. It's July 4th, my friends. And July 4th is Independence from Edict Day as well. Because that's what it was all about. Taxation without representation and some out-of-control king telling our ancestors what to do. All right? And who, by the way, were the ones, along with the Dutch, that were like importing slaves. It wasn't the colonists who were like just trying to make a life for themselves, or the Puritans, right? Eventually the Amish and stuff. They weren't involved in any of that stuff. Which coincidentally, we're all part of the North, right? It's funny that a lot of these protests too, they occur in the northern part, of the country, which is basically was the part of the country that were the freedom fighters and were the people that believed, in life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness the most. And it was the Southerners, those darn Southerners, right, caused all those problems. Be that as it may,
Channel check. Left channel. Left channel.
So, I don't know, man. I just don't get it. I don't get the unhappiness. I don't get the anger and stuff like that. I mean, we all go through problems. Nobody's had more problems than I've had. I mean, literally. I've experienced death in the family. I've experienced cancer. I've experienced hard times. Like I said, I've been broke, flat broke, right? I've experienced, loss in relationships, right? So it's like, you don't go pointing a finger at me and say, oh yeah, but you're but look at the color of you. You don't even know what color I am. This is black and white. Right now I'm basically I'm brown. I'm so tan. That's why I question people. I go, they talk about people of color. It's like in the summertime, I get so tanned, that do I suddenly become a person of color? It shows the absurdity of of the whole thing, the way things are. The childishness of it. The child. Peter Pan society. And what's worse than that is none of them know how to do anything. I mean, technology could be wiped out tomorrow. That's part of this volcanic thing. Part of the card that I put up there. Let me pull up that image because I have I think I still have the hand of God, nebula thing here. Let's get rid of that. Let's change properties, browse. See if I can do this without it messing up my processor. Volcano. Apply alpha in linear space. That's interesting. Well, anyway, let's take a look at that. Okay, so the morning show. If it's not one thing, it's another. We've got volcanoes going off all over the country, by the way. And a lot of that activity is caused by solar activity. People aren't aware of the influence the sun has on this planet. And it's pretty sad that we don't know that. We're on this planet. The sun is everything to us. The sun gives us, life, obviously, in multiple ways. It's great for your immune system, by the way. but it, gives it, just the plants need it, we need it, the planet needs it, gives us heat, right? And despite what most people are trying to say to you in the media, not most people in the world, or most scientists, because that was a fraud, the planet's not, is not going to turn into a cinder. But the sun also affects things such as, is responsible for solar, like, outbursts that could take out the grid right now, and it'd be the end of your cell phone for the rest of your life. Because there's not enough people that would know how to fix the grid. It's just like the sun is responsible for earthquakes, volcanic activity, yes, storms, intensity of things. There's so many things that the sun does. The sun protects us. Its magnetic field protects the solar system, so it protects us from cosmic rays. If it's not one thing, it's another. Like I said, I could have put an American flag up there, but, I got one there. I decided to wear the Union Jack to take the thing home. Independence from England Day. Independence from the King's system. Independence from taxation without representation. Independence from edicts. And what are the governors in the former United States doing? They're passing edicts. What are these EOs, executive orders? They're edicts, right? So the very thing, the very foundation, what this day, we should be celebrating, we can no longer celebrate because somehow we were back into a time warp, and it's July 4th, 1776 again. Or it's July 3rd, 1776 is what it is. Before people made that declaration. So it's kind of crazy. But even that, all those things, do they really matter? What really matters to you? Happiness. Happiness. You got to be happy. Today when you're hanging around, even if you're with, this is what you should be doing.
Really funny. Really funny.
That's what you should be doing.
Okay.
Right? Get with it.
Delicious.
And have a hot dog and a hamburger. They're pretty. You still can buy a decent one of those fairly cheap. But the price of rolls, like hot dog rolls and hamburger rolls, I mean, they might have them on sale somewhere where you are, but I noticed that I have stuff in the freezer. I'm not grilling today because I'm just by myself, and I still have an upbeat attitude, but nobody's, I'm not having any barbecue. I'm sure I'll open my back window, or if I go out. If it's sunny today, I'll go out because I need to get a little sun. It's been, the past 2 days have been rainy here, cold and rainy. So I need to get my fix of UVB rays and boost that immune system and keep my summer tan up. But I'll be smelling people grilling around the neighborhood, Poor old pitiful me, all alone, with my garden. I should have defrosted. I did have some hot dogs and hamburgers in the freezer. I should have defrosted some yesterday, but I didn't think about it. Today it'd be like, I don't know. Well, I could do it. That's true. You just take a knife, watch you don't cut your hands, and kind of slice 2 hot dogs out of the hot dog package. Nuke 'em. Put some mustard, ketchup, relish. I have all that stuff. And I got the rolls. But I also have some tortillas. So you just wrap one in a tortilla. I could do that if I want to do the thing.
Pardon me. Kermit is here right now.
The ridiculous amount of voices that I have is just it drives me up a wall sometimes.
Meow, 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 meow.
So anyway,
This calls for some big scratching.
so yeah, you know, hasn't time fly too? That's the other thing. Think about that. You know, so July 4th, forget, you know, the countries, the flags, the service, and all that stuff. All that aside, it's July 4th, man. It's like the summer, you know, we've got July and August. You know, because we have such short, you know, despite, like, again, you know, how these people, if you repeat a lie enough, you know, people end up believing it. But the fact of the matter is, we get like 7 months of winter in the better part of this country, right? Cold weather. It's like cold for like 7 months. And our spring and fall, we're lucky if we get 1 month of spring and 1 month of fall. So summer's like 3 months and it's like, bam, it's like over. And really, you got to get out and enjoy it. And you've got these senses, like I always say. You get the bioelectric brain, you got the eyes, the ears, the mouth, the nose, you know, the skin. Summertime, expose that skin to the sun. Soak up that UVB rays, boost your immune system. It activates all kinds of other stuff, too. You know, you should look that up sometime. And, take those bodies, those beach bodies, and embrace another beach body, you know? The touch, you know, without getting into anything, you know, with eroticism. It's like you got this this feeling, you know, this beautiful feelings of touch that you can share, you know, with another human being. I mean, that's like that's a really good sense. That's one of the best senses, you know. So it's way better than a barbecue. You know, and just looking at it isn't the same, you know. I mean, that's I appreciate beauty, but you know, touch. And of course, music, listening. I was gonna find, and I didn't do it. It's some John Philip Sousa music, and I was gonna like play something like that because I think that stuff is royalty free. Because I think that was like commissioned by the government, like taxpayer money. But I don't. The computer over here, the one that I use the sound effects on, is not hooked up to the internet because if I have other software programs on there that I purchased years ago, and every time I turn them on, like this little thing pops up. It's like from Adobe, and they're trying to get in there to update it or something. And what the way they sneakily do this, okay, so if you have an old computer and you have software that you purchased, and I purchased that software, and it wasn't cheap, you know. I mean, so I have a couple $1,000s probably worth of software over there. But what they'll do is if I hook that up to the internet, which I wish I could because then it would be easier networking. I can network through like Firewire and stuff, but it's a pain, you know, and it kind of messes up my computers because when I shut this one doesn't want to shut down proper. I don't know. It's a long story. It's like, I don't know. I just wish they could be normally networked. In any event, you know, or I could just go on the internet and just find a Philip Sousa song and play it since that's my audio set up as my audio feeding computer. But first thing they do is, so it's an Apple computer. So the first thing Apple does is they make their Safari and their email program no longer work on a computer that has an operating system that's like so many steps back. And you can't find, and even, and these other companies fall right in line. So like you can't go to say, well, try Firefox or try, such and such. Nah, doesn't work that way. They're all like in cahoots, that word. So you can't find a browser. You can't, so you can't even check your email online. And you can't get an email program that'll function on a machine that's, over a certain amount of years old. But it still works. I mean,
Okay.
still works. I've got Photoshop on there that I use in design. I've got Illustrator, Freehand. I don't know if anybody remembers that program. I've got a CD burner on there, DVD, right? It still works. I can burn a DVD on that machine. The new Macs don't even come with it. CD or DVD drives. Because they want you to rebuy your music, right? Get it all digital. Digital's fine. I love it. Got it. Got over 10,000 songs digitized. But I still got CDs. I got a boatload of them. And they still work. I have CDs that are 20 years old and they still work. Defies the laws of logic. There's a lot of people out there still playing albums. Albums are hip, But what they do is if you're connected, they start an update. And so they try, once they get through like halfway through the update, or if they're able to like kind of update the program, then when you try to open the program, it says this program will not operate on this operating system. And so in effect, what they've done is crashed destroyed your program. It's happened to me before. That's how they do it. It's a game they play. So you have to always, if you have an older computer that still works and you purchase software, I have the boxes for these things. I've shown these things to people from time to time. Go back to my old shows. Don't connect them to the internet, whatever you do. Because if you do, they'll ruin them. They'll destroy them. And that'll be the end of that. Yeah, so I could feel my stomach just a little bit upset. So it's the carbonation, cola, thing. So it's it's this love-hate relationship you have with these things. It's like, caffeine is a drug. After all, let's face it. So it does wake you up, get you a little, get you going and moving. But, is it worth pain? No. And then wiredness. And the belching. So, no, it's not. So I need to stop doing that type of thing. Anyway.
Hey, buddy, how's it going?
Well, I'll tell you what, man. It's July 4th. It's a Sunday. The neighborhood, there's a lot of people that are into, like, these people that get a kick out of hearing a bang. So I'm sure there'll be fireworks tonight and tomorrow. And then what happens is the stores where people, or places, these tents they set up or whatever, the places that sell fireworks to people will have this like 50% or 75% off, right? Because they just want to unload this stuff and move on, They're like the circus. And so then for the next week or two, people who will have purchased all of these discounted fireworks will be shooting those damn things off for the next couple of weeks. I never liked fireworks. I just never liked it. I don't get a kick out of that, and those bangs, and, to a lot of veterans, hearing those explosions, man, between, it just sets a lot of people off. I know a lot of people that just, it takes them to a bad place. Not to mention pets and dogs and things, what it does to pets as well, their sensitive ears, these explosions. I mean, come on, man. It's independence from England Day, all right? It's independence from the king system. It's about taxation without representation, all right? Independence Day, all right? It's not about fireworks. It's not about that stuff. Misguided things. It's how our every holiday, how they distort and revise things. The people are there. But the rocket's red glare. No. That was from the War of 1812. Francis Scott Key. That's when England came back in 1812 and said, "Screw you, we're gonna retake the country back." You didn't even know your history. And the rocket's red glare. That's the fireworks song, right? The national, yeah, the War of 1812. All right, when the Brits tried taking back the country again. People just have no idea of history. And there's like young people that are like, well, he's wrong, that's not right? Or there's like Save America crew who are out there, not, that's blasphemy. Talk to me about blasphemy. You don't know what you're talking about, man. This is, this country is a corporatocracy, and and what are you doing about it? Nothing. Donating campaigns to Save America campaigns that goes to the media that's pretty much primarily are the main culprits that screwed up this country. What do campaign contributions go to? Media ads. What do media ads do? They don't influence anybody. They just make those $20 million, announcers richer. Think about it yourself. Are you going to vote differently because you see an ad for Build Back Better? Well, do you think somebody who's into Build Back Better is going to vote because they see an ad that says Save America? Be real, man. For those who don't understand belching, it's what happens to human beings. If you hold back something like that, you can have more stomach problems than you think. The same goes for like passing gas, but that's not a problem. Anyway, yeah, and the rocket's red glare. War of 1812, sucker. Get with it. I need an ice cube. Yeah.
Funky.
So, look at this set. Look at it. Look at that old radio. I'm so glad at least some of the things that I preserved because of that stooge that destroyed. I had all my things stored at that building that I talk about. And that hoarder, allowed that place to just become, I lost everything. But some of this stuff I carried along with me because I used to just, have it on a shelf as like bookends and stuff. Actually, that phone, that dial phone, you know, is like wherever my finger is. If I could point to it. There we go. This thing here. That still works. I use that. I used to have that by my bedside when I was up, you know, before I moved my bedroom from the front to the back. And there's an old calculator before people used apps. And this radio strictly AM. Let's see if I can get myself out of the way. It's I can't explain it. It's some kind of like psychological thing, you know, that the mirror, you're used to looking in a mirror, and a mirror gives you a reversed image. So what I'm seeing, I see myself, right? But my body's trained that when you see a reflection of yourself, it's in reverse. And up until I put this OBS, this open source program that I'm using now that's really allowing us to do all these neat things, everything was in reverse like the mirror. So I was trained to point like this way, you know. And so what's happening is psychologically my body is saying you're seeing a reflection, that it should be in reverse like a mirror, you know. But in reality it's not. It's just one of those things. It's an interesting phenomenon. So, but anyway, and my book's codex is there too. So I'm going to try to bring the old thumb over. See my thumb? Gee, you're dumb. Codex. Get the book. CODE. The X is hidden. Tony Caravan Codex. It's available on Amazon.com. Go to TonyCaravanLive.com and you can find all of these wild and wonderful things, including that shirt that you see over there that says everything you know is wrong, and the shirt that sometimes you see me wear, you don't know what you don't know. And over in this side somewhere, you see above the guy, the microphone's kind of hiding it. I call it Eyes Without a Face. The Game Over hat next to the flag, and the guy with the mannequin with the sunglasses and the thing on. Well, that thing he says everything you know is wrong. You know, and that's kind of that's like where we stand. So
we have discovered that the Force.
I'm so tired. You know what? I'm just going to get rid of this right now. Where's the backspace? Delete. I keep pressing that, and it's like, that's not the one I wanted.
You're listening to Tony Caravan Live.
I know. And this is
Weekend.
still a weekend. 4-day weekend for those of you who have jobs, right? For me, every day is you know, it's like that Eagle song, A Month of Sundays. I don't know what the lyrics were to it, but it's like, I don't even know what day it is half the time. The cat's still there, so if I bring out the guitar, he'll go. I feel sad about that. I don't know why. He's afraid of the guitar. It's like he thinks it's a vacuum cleaner. He's not afraid of music. He's just afraid of the guitar, the physical guitar itself. You know, when he sees it, he thinks like, oh, it's like it must look like a vacuum cleaner, I guess, because it's long, like there's a handle, and a little wider down the bottom, like a vacuum cleaner. That's all I could figure. So when I reach for the guitar, he like takes off. But he doesn't care about music. I could be blasting music, and he'll be sitting on my lap, you know, purring. But, you know, I like adding a little bit of guitar to it. So I guess he'll get over it, you know. So it's 5:59 sunrise. Let's see. Let's just do something. Let's see if we can torment. Maybe we'll just try tormenting a friend of mine. Low light mode on, that's okay. I'm getting interference. And oh yeah! Sorry about that. I don't know what's going on, but well, let me just do something here quick. This is a complicated thing, what I am doing. And I'm going to try to, oh man. Sorry. Let's see if we can talk to him. Video call. Smile. Knock is on. As a contact, they'll see video before they answer. Got it. Your video is visible. Now, let's see what happens. Send a video. It says your video is visible. Send a video. Let's see. Tap the button to start recording. No, I don't want to record. Stop. That didn't work. I guess I'm no longer in his contacts. So let's just go out of that. Go to here. Do this. Voice call. I tried. I'll leave it open just in case. I don't know what happened to this thing. Okay. Excellent. Excellent connection. You make me feel so young. You make me feel like spring has sprung. Anyway. Well, since we can't get through to him, let's try this. We've been doing these Johnny Cash things too much, I think. So maybe we'll take a break from Johnny. I tried to do a duo call, but the party on the other line didn't answer. Maybe they changed their cell phone. My contact list is very old, and that's the way it goes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. not in perfect tune, but it's close enough for these kind of chords. Sevenths. Lunatic is on the wall, or something like that. The lunatic is on YouTube. Today is July 4th. Independence from England Day. It's July 4th. Independence from the King Day. Now, on July 4th, celebrate independence. Independence from England. Those poor bastards, they're still having a lockdown. They got all kinds of problems. The dictatorial problems. The government is giving them edicts. Not that we're not getting them too. The world is in turmoil. And so are you. Let's see if there's an email on here by any chance. No. Well, I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to turn the volume down on that. I don't think we're doing a video call today. In fact, see, the thing about this is, anybody can be a rock and roll singer. Anybody can be a 60s type rock and roll folk singer. All you need is a guitar. All you need is a microphone and a voice that does that kind of loungy pause. Or you can be a talking singer. And it's beautiful music. Down in Mexico. I just like to bring the guitar out every now and then and fart around with it. I gotta get some new things to sing. I should not be drinking this cola. I could feel it affecting my stomach. Anyway. We're an hour and 17 minutes into this thing. And did the cat leave? Yeah. Yeah, he left. Poor little guy. I got these weird little device. Looks like some kind of like, yeah, it's like a little mini tripod. See that? I got it for the phone. You take this thing on the top here and you lift it up, and then it clamps on your phone, and then you can just set your phone down and, you know, do like a call type of thing with it. It's interesting. It came with the USB camera that I got. And then I have this other device, which is dusty. And this one, if you look at the top, this goes on to any kind of camera, but it will work with that thing that I have. And this connects to my my big tripod, like an actual professional grade tripod. You can set your camera out and do stuff. I don't do that kind of stuff anymore. You know, I used to do more of that kind of thing, but I don't know. I enjoy doing this, you know. This is fun. Just talking, rapping. I figured it's July 4th. I don't have anything particular to say. I'm not going to fear-monger about the volcanoes going off. I mean, they're going off all over the place. You know, the power grid could go down sometime in the next 10 years. And then all this technology's gone. It won't come back. But that's like fear-mongering, you know. You know, just face reality. I take every day you have and just live it to the fullest. And when I say fullest, I mean full, you know, the full sensory input. What I call like the, you know, your consciousness, mind, soul experience, right? Soul experience. Full experience of life. Yeah, don't get caught up in these petty things. It just doesn't make any sense. I quit the Twitter stuff and all that jazz. That's why I say, you know, people, everybody gets like, they get caught up in these sides. They take sides. It's like, what side is there? You know, you're on this planet traveling at some ungodly speed. That's what I was thinking about this morning, too. I mean, we're like zipping through space, like insane, at an insane speed. I don't care what they write on these chalkboards, these mathematicians and physicists. It's like, how is that even possible? The cat has returned. But, you know what I mean? We're like, 450,000 miles per second, per hour, or something like that. I mean, that's weird. It's really weird. So, like, at any given time, we could just, like, collide with something. Or something will, collide with us. Like I say, we're lucky, You know, the natural state of this planet is pretty much a frozen planet. We're in an interglacial period right now. That's what they call it. It's an interglacial period. Because mostly we're in ice ages. Right? Then the sun goes through these cycles, civilizations rise and fall, during these interglacial periods, and in between these cataclysms, right? And people are worried about petty things. He called me a name. I was triggered by that. He's not wearing that thing. It's like, come on, man. Like, the big puppet, the puppet says, come on, man. Yeah. It's about the best line, It's the best line that's come out of his mouth. Come on, man. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't know, but today's a happy day. I'm glad to see I was able to do this thing, get this thing. That's a picture of my cat in the background, on my phone. It's funny how it shows it no matter what, even though I have it turned off, But I think I'll keep this show short since it's a holiday. Who the heck wants to waste their holiday looking at me, listening to me, and I guess looking at the Union Jack instead of the Stars and Stripes or whatever. But, it's about reality, and that's what my show is.
You're listening to Tony Caravan Live.
It's about that, and it's about this.
Hello. Good morning.
So, good morning, folks. Don't forget, support your favorite show. Thanks for watching. And go to TonyCaravanLive.com and click on the links. And if you're watching this on my Rockflux YouTube channel, subscribe, like, give us a nice comment, tell me what you think, and, help support the channel. I don't ask for much. Visit my locals channel and become part of that community. Like I say, check out the links below to the podcasting index. I'm messing around with that. I still haven't figured all that out yet. I'm working on it. So, have a great day. Have a great holiday. Enjoy your hot dogs and hamburgers.